video, we will be completing the economic injury disaster loan application. So the first thing we're going to do is go down to the eligible entity verification. More than one of these options may apply to your business. All you have to do is click one. Applicant is a business with not more than 500 employees. Review and check all of the following. Applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity as defined by federal guidelines. No principal of the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest is more than 60 days delinquent on child support obligations. Applicant does not present live performances of a prurient sexual nature or derive directly or indirectly more than the de minimis gross revenue through the sale of products or services or the presentation of any depictions or displays of a prurient sexual nature. Applicant does not derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from legal gambling activities. Applicant is not in the business of lobbying. An applicant cannot be a state, local, or municipal government entity and cannot be a member of Congress. Now we can continue. Business information. I am a sole proprietor who files my business income taxes with my personal income taxes, and so therefore I will list my first and last name as my business legal name. Trade name. This is the name that I do business as. So on the front of my store, it says COVID Shop. Whenever you see employer identification number or social security number, it's really asking where are the business taxes filed. As I said earlier, I filed my business taxes with my personal income taxes, and so I'll place my social security number on this line. Organization type, sole proprietor. Is the applicant a nonprofit organization? No. And this will change the interest rate on the loan. Nonprofits have an interest rate of 2.75%, while for-profits have an interest rate of 3.75%. Is the applicant a franchise? No. Gross revenues for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster, January 31st of 2020, $80,000. Cost of goods sold for the 12 months prior to the date of disaster, $20,000. Rental properties, residential and commercial only. Lost rent due to the disaster. We're going to say none. Nonprofit or agriculture enterprise cost of operation for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster, none. And here you're just entering the numbers off of your tax return. Compensation from other sources received as a result of the disaster. So let's say we received a grant from our local government of $10,000. We have to report that. Of course, that will take away from our loan amount. But if they found out we got a grant and we didn't report it, it'd be a whole lot more trouble. So let's just go ahead and report that information. Provide brief description of other compensation sources. Say state grant. Okay, now we're going to enter our business primary address. The city in which the business is located. The state in which the business is located. The county, made up, of course. The zip code. The business phone number. Alternative business phone and business fax are optional information. Business email address. Date business was established, and of course this has to be before January 31st of 2020. How long has the current ownership been in place? Business activity. And number of employees. Now, being that my EIN is my social security number, that automatically means that I have only myself as an employee, so I'm going to put a 1. But if you have employees, you should put your EIN number here. Next page. Individual owners, I'm going to list myself. Last name. Enter my mobile phone number. Title. My ownership percentage. Email address. Social security number. My date of birth. Place of birth. For place of birth, you can put, the city you're from, the state, United States. It doesn't really matter. U.S. citizen, yes. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you must be an eligible alien to participate in this program. And you have to present your permanent resident card. Residential street addresses, as for my personal address. The city in which I live. The state. And my zip code. If I had any additional owners to include, I'd click this Add Additional Owner button and add those owners. And the reason why the next isn't highlighted yet is because I have to go back to the top. And is your business owned by a business entity? No. And let's proceed. Additional information. In the past year, has the business or a listed owner been convicted of a felony committed during and in connection with a riot or civil disorder or other declared disaster, or even been engaged in the production or distribution of any product or service that has been determined to be obscene by a court of competent jurisdiction? I'm going to say no. Is the applicant or any listed owner currently suspended or debarred from contracting with the federal government or receiving federal grants or loans? Of course, this has to be no to be eligible for a federal grant or loan. And the last one's a 2-part question. Are you presently subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction? And part B, within the last 5 years, for any felony, have you ever been convicted, pled guilty, pled nolo contender, been placed on pretrial diversion, or been placed on any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? No. If anyone assisted you in completing this application, whether you pay a fee for this service or not, that person must enter their information below. And so you don't have to enter my information because even though I showed you how to do it, I'm not doing it for you, so that wouldn't include me for this portion. And if you'd like, you can give that person the permission to discuss the loan application with the SBA. Your discretion. Where to send funds. Now, this part is very important. I recommend that you pull out one of your blank checks to fill this information in, because if the bank account information is not entered correctly and the loan is funded to the wrong account, or even if your loan gets approved and it has the wrong account information on it, it'll take a good amount of time before you ever see those loan funds. So we'll make sure this information is entered correctly on its first submission. So we're going to just say for this video, the bank is Chase. We're going to give it an account number. And we're going to give a routing number. And then we're going to certify this information is correct. And now this is where I'm going to stop, because as you can see, I am certifying under the penalty of perjury under the law of the United States. And this information is fraudulent. This is just a simple demonstration of how to fill out the application. And so from this point on, you're just going to see you have the summary page and you're going to submit your application. So that's how you complete the economic injury disaster loan application.